Today is an important day. What? Oh. Today's an important day. Now, you've heard me say this many times, but I believe that the missions trip is probably the most important part of our church calendar during the year. It's a reminder of Jesus' commission to us. It's a reminder that we're supposed to extend ourselves. First in Sterling, then the Sauk Valley, then wider, and to the world. That commission has been given to every generation of believers since Jesus resurrected. Steve has taken it on himself to raise money, to go on these trips, and he has found it a blessing. He's been to Chile and Bolivia. Is there another one? Mexico, that's right. And it's had a real impact on him. It's caused him to grow. It's stoked the fire of his spiritual passion. Now, when I came here 10 plus years ago, one of the things you do first is you kind of try to assess the church. You know, who's likely to be a person who might speak if you're absent? Who's a person who's likely to do this or that? I never honestly pictured that Steve would be the one speaking to us. I don't think Steve ever considered that possibility. And yet, because he has passion for outreach, he's going on these trips, he's witnessing to people, he's growing spiritually. It's a great gift. And I have many hopes for the church, as you know, but one of my great hopes for the church is that eventually we'll see groups going on mission trips. Maybe they'll be primarily construction, maybe they'll be primarily evangelistic, maybe somebody will want to go on a medical mission. But those things are meaningful, and they're at the core of our calling. So Steve's going to come, and he's going to share with us. We've got first something pre-recorded, and then he's going to take questions. And then that's the sermon for the day. Don't cry. I know you're disappointed. But then I'm going to come back next week and do something to piggyback on that and talk about the importance of it. So I have great personal affection for Steve. He's the one person in the church I can direct who never rolls their eyes at me. It's always, okay, Pastor, whatever you need. And he's just a blessing to me. I'm proud of him. I'm proud to call him our friend. And I hope you'll give him your full attention this morning.
2018 Santiago, Chile mission trip. July 10th to July 27th, 17 days. This is the airport in Santiago. This is Mark and Joanna's new house. Mark is going to be the director of Word of Life in Chile. They have 4 children. We're finishing up the soffit on the side of the house. There's some more pictures of the soffit being put up. There's the ground. It's pretty rough and green. This is one of the cabins that holds like 35 people. There's the soffit, all done. There's another picture of the soffit. There's the mountains. There's snow in the mountains now because there is winter there. There's some of Ron's handyman work. He's leveling out the floor in one of the bathrooms. There's the water pipe and the sewer pipe. There's a swimming pool. There's the inside of the new house. There's another picture of the inside of the house. It has 220 and 110, but everybody down there basically has 220. There's one of the missionary families we went to have supper with. There we were learning how to put stucco on the wall. There's some of the delicious food we had. There's another missionary's house we went to. There's Andrew and Dennis. Dennis is Mark's father, one of Mark's daughters. There's some more of the delicious food we had for supper one night at one of the missionaries' house. There's another picture of the mountains. One of the guys named Seth, a grandson. He was there. He only went up 3/4 of the way in the mountains. There's some more food we had. You can see it's all gone. There's some of Ron's handyman work, and he let his granddaughters put their handprints in it. There's one of Ron's granddaughters up on the scaffolding. There's one of the hardware stores in town. That's another picture of the hardware store. There's some of the bushes in town. They were pretty green for being in winter. There's another picture of the mountain. There's a clown at the subway station. We were waiting for the train to come. You could see that Joanna and one of her daughters was talking to him. There's Ron waiting for the subway. There's the subway tracks. There's an outdoor flea market that we went to on Saturday. There is some chickens there. There's a peacock. There's one of the tallest and largest buildings in San Diego. That says when the building was built and when it was completed. We went up 62 floors, and then we walked up 2 more floors, so it's a total of 64 floors. You can see all the beautiful city. There's more of the beautiful city. There's one of the girls looking out the windows. It looks like apartments or something. There's a U.S. Embassy in Chile. They have air conditioners, but no heaters. There we are on Saturday night, waiting for our dinner to come. That seats 1,000 people. And before we got there that night, they had a wedding reception for 900 people were in there. There's some of the food we had. We had all kinds of meat there. We had blood sausage. We had, you name it, it was there. There we are, eating and having a good time. They had the stage up in the ceiling. There's the trash on the road to the Word of Life property. There's some more of the trash. People from the cities just come and dump their trash here all along the road. There's some more of the property. And in October, Ron will be going back there to build a new entrance on the other side of the property so you will not have to drive back. There's some of the houses in Chile. There we are on the way to a church. This guy is an alarm salesman, and he opened up his garage and made it into a church for people to come. There's the inside of the church. There's some flowers there at the church. There's some of the lights. The lights are 220 lights because electricity is all 220. There's some more of his beautiful flowers. They don't have downspouts. They have chains, and the water when it rains runs down that chain and does the same thing as a downspout. There's the front of this house. There's some more of the man's property. There's one of his vans he has for work. There's a tree, and the top part would do the same thing as the bottom part. They would grow out, and then they would just fall over and hang down. Whatever that says. That's about his alarm company business and the church. He has like 1,000 customers. There's some more of his property. There are some of the lights that we put up in Mark's new home. That's the kind of heaters they have down in Shady. That's what we use to heat our cabin at night so we can stay warm, because it gets down to like 15 degrees at night, up to 70 in the daytime. Now we are at a seafood restaurant on Sunday. We had seafood to eat for lunch before we went to the ocean. There's a picture of the ocean from the restaurant. There's the Pacific Ocean, and it only gets up in the summertime. It could get up to 90 degrees there, and the water still stays at 40 degrees. There's some of the people getting off a tour boat. There's the kind of boats that men take out and go fishing. There's some more of the Pacific Ocean. There we are in a different part of the Pacific Ocean. We got to actually walk in the Pacific Ocean. There's Ron fixing the cement there so he could put up another roof so they could put the washer and dryer outside. There we are. There's a canal that runs through their property. It comes from that water comes down from the mountains into a river and then into the canal, and that's how life gets water on their property. They run it through a filtration system, 7 parts it goes through before you can drink it or bathe in it. There's Andrew and Dennis and Seth. There's some lasagna we had one night. There's our first cabin. It's called Chili, and it was getting a new roof. It's probably done by now. There's a night of the sunset. There's Seth. He's putting in some vents for the heating. They do not have air conditioning, just heating. There's Mark putting on the board so he could put up his roof. There's some of Ron's handyman work. He put most all the tile down and built the shower base. They call that game carpet ball. It's kind of like, in America, it would be like shuffleboard. There are some more pictures. I know it was cold that day outside. It was like 40 degrees when they were playing carpet ball. There's their auditorium. It seats like 300 people. It's beautiful. And they're getting ready for a summer camp because they expect 250 students to come from ages like 8 to about 16 will be there. There's some more of the auditorium that they are practicing because it's going to be like a 3-day, 3-night, 4 days to stay there. There's some chicken we had in the dining hall. There we are eating in the dining hall. There they are. Thursday night in the auditorium. They had benches to sit on, and they were full. They had one plunger on the whole property, and the rubber was so hard you could not use it, so we bought them a new one. That sign says, private residence. There's the Wi-Fi in Mark and Joanna's house. There's one of the hardware stores we went to one night. We had a table full of stuff that we had to search through every morning to find our stuff to go to work. There's the new roof on it. It's going to cover up the washer and dryer. There's another picture of the beautiful mountains. There's some of my handyman work. I had to install those doors. I even had to cut the hinges in the door and the frame, and another man, Dennis, helped me hang them. There's some more of Laura. She's a missionary from Ohio. She's been there since April, and she'll be there till next April. She decided to come for 1 year and work on Mark's house. There's the kitchen. There's their kitchen, and in that oven, it does not work. They have newspapers stored in there. There's a dishwasher that does not work. Ron's supposed to fix it. There's some more food we had. It looks like chicken. One of the girls was birthday party. It was one of Ron's granddaughters and Mark's daughter, and we had a birthday party for her. There's some more good food we had. There's Laura's dog. She came from Ohio with Laura. There's the average size wash machine. That's what you go into the store and buy. One style of washer and dryer. There's the inside the wash machine. There's everybody eating at a missionary's house. We had Mentos, and they had a clay pot, and they had a clay bowl right there, as you can see. There's some of the trim we put around the windows. Ron's handyman work getting ready for the cement board to go up. There's a bicycle on the property, as you can see. There's their gate. They have to unlock and lock when people come in and leave because they have a lot of riffraff and they don't want dogs coming in either. There's the roof that a man fell through and landed on his back when he was getting ready to change the roof. There's the roof. They were taking off some shingles there. As you can see, they were wood, and that's all there was. One layer of roof, and then you can see right into the house. There's some of the shingles they took off. There's some that is the best food to eat for breakfast. That's all the girls ate for breakfast was Filippo's. There's another door that we had to put trim around. I had to put trim around, and then I had to paint the doors, and I had to paint the trim, and I had to paint the casing and everything. There's some more of my handyman work. And then I had to hang some cement board too. There's some more of the cement board I hung. There's Laura again. She's learning how to put tile up before Ron leaves to go back to Ohio. She had 3 bathrooms to get done. There's our last day on the property. We had a cookout. We had all kinds of food, more than you can imagine. This is one of the missionaries cooking the food. There they are. They're going to put insulation, plywood, and then more insulation on the house so they can keep it warmer. They even had a Sherwin-Williams paint store in Chile. There I am, back from San Diego, Chile, and I'd like to thank everybody that supported me in going. Thank you, and God bless you. I want to thank you all.
Next week I'm going to give you some specifics on the camp. How many they serve a year, how long they've been doing that. This camp is where my son-in-law grew up. His father was the director of the camp. Now his brother-in-law, years later, will be the director of the camp. They not only minister to children, but they'll bring in groups of pastors to train them. And things are always going on. And often we don't realize that God is working other places in the world. Santiago is a huge city. And there are not that many churches that clearly preach the gospel. You have religion, but you don't have people, you don't have churches explaining to people that salvation is by grace through faith alone and that it's free. That people can come to Christ, they can know Christ, they can trust Him, and the people in Chile are hungry. Everyone who comes for free. And so this is a tremendous work. And Ron, who is our daughter's father-in-law, he travels all over Central and South America, sometimes Europe, the Caribbean, and he supervises the building of chapels, dormitories, churches, homes, and it's really an amazing, amazing work. Where'd Steve go? He's back there. Turn your mic on, will you please? I'm going to put him on the spot. I didn't coach him for any of his answers, and I didn't warn him I was going to do this, but has this affected you? Has it changed you at all?
Yes, it has. It's made me a better person.
Okay. All right. Now, none of you were walking around saying Steve needs to be a better person, right? We all love Steve, but that's what it does. It increases your sensitivity to others. It helps you appreciate what you have. It helps you fight for a cause that's worthy. And I hope that Steve's passion will become contagious. And so, I'm going to end with that. I'm going to do a message about this next week, and I hope you'll hear. I'm not going to tell you a lot of sad stories and try to get you come crying down the aisle so you'll go on a mission trip. That's not the point. But as a people, we need to keep a level of passion for these things. Evangelism is a necessity. It's a necessity if people will know their sins are forgiven. It's a necessity if a church will survive from generation to generation. And the truth is, sharing your faith is the most satisfying thing you'll ever do. I've seen person after person who led their first person to Christ. And I never see anything that causes more joy. In fact, the Bible says there's joy in the presence of angels over a sinner that repents. So this is a big deal. We send people because we want people to know Christ. We do all this because we want people to know Christ. So thank you, Steve. Very much appreciated.